Hey guys, what's up? This is White Boy for the win, and welcome back to Why Mega Evolve. Now, earlier last week we talked about Mega Electivire, and today we're going to be talking about Mega Magmortar. But before we get started, let me just give you guys a brief explanation what this series is about. Now, every week we'll be picking two Pokemon that either need a Mega Evolution, deserve a Mega Evolution, or want a Mega Evolution for. Now, this is based off my opinion alone, and no one else's. Now, if you guys do not like my opinion, then please post your opinions in the comment section down below about what would you keep, what would you change, and etc. And at the end of our video, I will be telling you guys which Pokemon we're going to be talking about the following day. So with that said, here is Mega Magmortar. Now, like what I said in my Mega Electivire video, when I was growing up, if you didn't have a Electivire, Magmortar, or Dusknoir, you pretty much weren't cool. And Magmortar for myself was pretty much the first one out of the three that I got first, and I got it on like the last week of school before like I graduated from like 6th grade to go into like middle school, and so like my fame was gone within a week. So it was sad, but then like when I went to middle school, it was kind of the same because like everyone that I went to elementary school with went to like the same middle school, so it pretty much was still cool until Platinum came out, and then they were like, oh, you can get them easier. But regardless, Electivire and Magmortar, or should I say Electabuzz and Magmar, are pretty much always together. They're like kind of like inseparable when it comes to evolutions, like how in 2nd gen Magmar and Electabuzz both got a baby evolution in 2nd gen along with Jinx. So they were Elekid and Magpie, and in 4th gen they both got an evolution. Now Jinx didn't get an evolution, obviously, which is kind of sad considering that Jinx was kind of like in the same boat as like they were inseparable with like Electabuzz and Magmar. But anyways, Magmar and Electabuzz both got an evolution in 4th gen, so that's what I'm saying when they're kind of inseparable when it comes to like evolutions. Now with 6th gen around and Mega Evolution's now a thing, I think that if one or the other gets a Mega Evolution, the last one is going to be getting a Mega Evolution as well, because it pretty much makes sense. Because in my opinion, if we get like a Mega Magmortar and we don't get a Mega Electabuzz, it's going to be kind of weird because, like I said, they're kind of inseparable. So nonetheless, if they do get a Mega Evolution, this is how I would actually like to see it. Now, as you can tell from what I've done to Magmortar's stats, I did increase everything because honestly, everything did need to get increased. Now, for its physical attack, I increased them from base 95 to base 105. Now, the reason why I only increased it just a teensy bit was just because Magmar does get access to a lot of good physical type attacks. And I've actually seen and came across a couple of Magmortars that were kind of mixed, because they get access to like Thunder Punch, Brick Break, Earthquake, and Low Sweep and stuff like that. So if you want to run like a mixed Magmortar, you can, because I've actually seen it done, and it actually does put in the work, because you rarely would like think people will run like a mixed Magmortar, but there are people out there who would. So with base 105, it is possible and have a little bit more oomph to it when it comes to like maybe a mixed Magmortar as well. Now, for its special attack, I increased it from base 125 to base 155. Now, out of all of its stats, I kind of wanted its special attack to have like most of an impact onto its stat rather than its other stats, just because Magmortar is a special attacker. Obviously, if you can tell from its regular stats, that's just a regular Magmortar. I actually see this thing getting like a significant increase into its special attack, and with base 155 special attack, it's just going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, Magmortar gets access to a lot of like other coverage moves like Solar Beam, Thunderbolt, Psychic, Focus Blast, and like a lot of other special type attacks. So with base 155 special attack, I know it's just going to be doing a lot of damage. Now, for its physical defense, I increased it from base 67 to base 84. Now, obviously, Magmortar's physical defense is kind of like a glass cannon. It's not going to be able to live like an Earthquake from anyone, or maybe it won't take a resistant hit all that well, but I wanted to give it a somewhat of an increase into its physical defense to base 84. That way it has some sort of like stat bulk to that stat, and even if it's at base 94, like I said, it's not likely it's going to be able to take all that great of a hit from a Pokemon, but nonetheless, base 84 for its physical defense isn't actually half bad. Now, for its special defense, I increased it from base 95 to base 110. Now, I wanted to give its special defense some sort of like a good boost to its special defense as well. I mean, even if it is like 15 points, it's still going to be very, very good at base 110, because most of the time when you try to take down a Magmortar, you always go for like a Serve or a Skull or something like that, because I rarely see people use Earthquake against a Magmortar, considering that I did use Magmortar in a team before, and no one, literally, like, nobody used Earthquake. Maybe once my opponent used Earthquake on my Magmortar and killed it, but that was it. They usually try to like take it out with like a water type move or like earth power or whatever the case may be. So I wanted to give it a good significant increase into its special defense as well. Well, not a significant increase, but a good enough increase to make this thing be able to be like a special defensive wall if you do decide to go that route, because at base 110 your stats most likely going to be maxed out at 361 if I'm not mistaken, and it's just going to be, no, not 361, 350, I'm sorry about that. But anyways, it's still going to be a defensive wall if you want to go that route. So with base 110 special defense, this thing will be able to eat up a lot of special hits. Now for its speed, I increased it from base 83 to base 111. Now the reason why I gave its speed such a significant increase is because sometimes I've actually seen people use like a timid nature or a modest nature Magmortar and they put a choice scarf on it, considering that Magmortar isn't as fast as you would think it would be. Because honestly, when I first saw Magmortar, I thought its speed was going to be around like base 100 to base 105, but it wasn't. It was at base 83, and I was actually very disappointed with its speed stat. So I wanted to give it an increase into its speed to base 111. That way you don't have to like run a choice scarf on it. I mean, considering it is a Mega, you can't really run an item on a Mega Pokemon other than Mega Rayquaza, but that's a whole different story. But nonetheless, with base 111 speed, it will be able to outspeed base 110 Pokemon. I know there's a lot of Pokemon out there who have have a base 110 speed, and with base 111 you will be able to outspeed them by like 1 point. So with base 111, it is going to be very, very fast and very, very like hard hitting Pokemon with like base 155 special attack, because that's what I was actually going for, a very, very hard hitting Pokemon that is very, very fast. Now for a regular Magmortar, its base stats at 540, and with the Mega Evolution it's going to be at 640. It's going to be on par with the Pseudo Legends, and I would like to see what it can do in battle with the stats I've given it. Now for its ability, I gave it Sheer Force. Now at first I was probably going to be giving this thing Solid Rock, but then I thought, wait, I can give this thing Sheer Force because it's going to be very, very fast. Because honestly, I don't think Sheer Force is a good ability for slow Pokemon. I mean, granted that Mega Camera Up did get Sheer Force, and the only way to like make its ability shine is if you get Trick Room up. So this is a Pokemon where that you don't have to run Trick Room to actually benefit from its ability Sheer Force, because I honestly think that Sheer Force is such an amazing ability for Mega Magmortar just because of the way it looks, or what the design I'm using it. I mean, look at it, it's a furnace. I mean, it makes sense because Sheer Force, it just does massive amount of damage with stab moves like fire, obviously, because there's a fire type. So I actually see this Pokemon getting like Sheer Force as an ability. Now for its typing, I actually added on the Psychic type characteristics. Now before you guys go batshit crazy and say, oh, why did you give it the part Psychic type characteristics when obviously putting Dark type characteristics would have been better because of the design I used? Well, hear me out. Yes, the design I used for Mega Magmortar in this video can be part dark from the way it looks, but honestly, I can't really give it the Dark type characteristics just because I was actually looking on Cerebi for its moves and what it can learn, and I was going to be teaching it. If it can learn Dark Pulse, and I would 100% put the Dark type characteristics on a Mega Magmortar. But after looking at its moves, it did not get access to Dark Pulse. I mean, granted, it does get Hidden Power Dark if you decide to go that route, but I don't want to just give it a typing on for a Pokemon that doesn't get really access to any Dark type moves other than like Feint Attack for Mega Magmortar. So I believe the Psychic type characteristics is better for one of two reasons. One, it gets access to Psychic, and two, if you guys ever played Pokemon Battle Revolution for the Wii, there was and I believe it was either an event or a gift. I think it was a gift because you can actually enter in the code as many times as you want if you restarted the game, and you get either a electivire or a Magmortar depending on which code you entered in. And when you enter in a Magmortar code, you The moves it gets, I believe, is a fire type move, solar beam, focus blast, and psychic. And when I saw that it got psychic, I was like, yo, that's an awesome move to have on a Magmortar, because at the time I wasn't really into like competitive battling, considering it was around 4th gen when Battle Revolution came out, and I really never had a Magmortar before, and I didn't know it got access to psychic at the time. So I always thought like this was like a special move, and I also thought that like now that we have access to like Mega Evolutions, I've always seen this thing being part Psychic. So if you guys don't agree with the typing, then you could just either get rid of the Psychic type characteristics and just leave it as fire, or you can put the Dark type characteristics on it if you want to have like an event later down the line of it getting access to Dark Pulse, because I can actually see this thing getting Dark Pulse as like an event move because of how it looks. But nonetheless, I think Psychic is such an amazing typing on it. That way we'll have 2 Pokemon that have access to the Fire Psychic type characteristics, considering that Victini is part Psychic if I'm not mistaken. So I can actually see this happening, and also it does get access to Psychic, so there's a stab Psychic move, and also this thing gets access to Zen Headbutt, I do believe, as well. So there's 2 Psychic type moves you can run on Mega Magmortar from being part Psychic as a stab type move. So with that, that's all I really gotta say. So there is Mega Magmortar. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to comment and subscribe. Now, the next Pokemon we're going to be talking about is Mega Sandslash. Yes, because I really love Sandslash, and honestly, I thought that Pokemon should have gone another evolution and then a Mega, but you never know. Maybe in 7th gen, Game Freak will give older Pokemon a evolution, but until then, I'm going to be talking about their Mega Evolutions. So Sandslash is going to be the next one, because I've always loved Sandslash. I always wanted to talk about it, and I thought I talked about it in the past, but I guess I didn't, because I know I made a moveset of Mega Sandslash, or not Mega Sandslash, but a Sandslash moveset before. So I'm going to be talking about a Mega Sandslash this Friday. I'm sorry if I got the dates mixed up. I'm both recording right now. It's April 14th when I'm recording this, so you won't be seeing this until like the end of the month, and maybe in Sandslash at the beginning of next month. So like I was saying, thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit that like button. Also, don't forget to comment and subscribe. So on Friday, I think we are going to be talking about Mega Sandslash. So this is White Boy for the win, and I'll catch you guys later.